Hello everyone and welcome back to the World War II Solitaire board game channel. Wow, today I'm gonna do something that I haven't done in a really long time. I'm gonna play Airborne In Your Pocket. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I got thinking about that game backing DDay Dice, which is currently on Kickstarter again. We have DDay Dice, the second edition, and we have DDay Dice Pocket. Both of these are currently again on Kickstarter. It's going to be the last chance to get these, at least in this print run, so to speak, the second edition, until they decide, if they want to print them again or do a third edition. And I mean, DDay Dice, I've covered a lot of DDay Dice, but I've also covered Airborne In Your Pocket. And the reason why I got thinking about Airborne In Your Pocket as I was backing the DDay Dice Kickstarter is because one of my favorite ways to play Airborne In Your Pocket is actually with the Inside the Bunker expansion, which is a really awesome way of combining DDay Dice with Airborne In Your Pocket. So with this expansion Inside the Bunker, there's two ways that you can decide how you want to combine your games together. So the first way, I've already shown you that, and that is actually when you play a normal game of DDay Dice, and then once you reach the bunker, you play a game of Airborne In Your Pocket to kind of simulate actually storming the bunker and clearing out the bunker. It's a really fun way to increase the the DDay Dice experience, and it's really thematic. So that's a really cool way to play it. And if you haven't watched that video, just search for Inside the Bunker World War II Solitaire board game channel, and you'll find that video. And like I said, there's two ways to merge these two games. So the second way you can do it is you actually play a game of Airborne In Your Pocket, a normal game, and something that comes in this little expansion box is something really cool, and that is these event cards, because the event cards are kind of the core, together with the tiles, the terrain tiles. It's kind of the core of the game, which drives the game. And these event cards are special event cards. There's 10 of them, and they're special event cards driven by dice which you find in DDay Dice. So that's a really cool way they have turned a card game into a card and dice game. And yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's also very much fun. So there's some more stuff you get in this which you're going to use for the game, and it is going to be some new items. So first of all, you have your standard items which are connected to the whichever tile and event cards you choose. So I've chosen the tiles, terrain tiles, I'll choose, I think that's called spade. So we have the spade cards. And then we have the standard cards here. So the brown cards are items, and the gray cards are weapons. So we also have our standard cards, and these 4 decks will be used when you play a normal Airborne In Your Pocket game. But since we're using the Inside the Bunker expansion module, we also have the cards for that expansion. So here we have the brown cards, which again are item cards, and then we have the weapon cards. And we can see here there's a marker there which tells us that this is not standard cards. It's not one of the that belongs to the tile cards. It is an expansion card. Okay, and besides that, we have some more surprises. We have optional rules that come with Inside the Bunker expansion, and that is to determine your secondary objective, roll 2d6 at the start of the game and add them together. If you roll 11 or 12, the result counts as 1. So that's obviously new because we don't have d6s in the standard game. So I'm just going to use that. That is the only optional rule that comes with this expansion, and that is the reason why I'm going to use it. I'm actually also going to use vitamin shots for gameplay purposes and to show up this game. Players start a game at maximum health 9 instead of 6. So just to have a little bit easier time to show you how this works. I'm also, there's an optional rule which there's not a card for some reason, but it's described in the main rules, and that is if you want an easier game, you can remove location number 1 and number 11. So number 1, which is the supply truck, and number 11 have been removed from these tiles. And yeah, then we have some more stuff. So there's a number of ways you can play Airborne in Your Pocket. You can play a standard game, you can play scenario, or you can play advanced game. So we are playing an advanced game, which means we have a secondary objective and we have a special operative. Those are the conditions for the advanced game. You also have to make it out to the drop zone when you play an advanced game. If you play a standard game, you just have to sabotage the bunker and get out of it. So anyway, since we're playing the advanced game, that means we're gonna have to choose a special operative, and we have chosen the Flame Gunner, which is also part of the Inside the Bunker expansion. It's a really awesome special operative because it lets you start with the M1A1 flamethrower. The M1A1 flamethrower, as you can see here, has a weapon power of 5, and every time you use it, you have to roll a d6. On a result of 1, 2, or 3, you lose 1 health. On a result of 4, 5, or 6, you lose 2 health points. So it's rather dangerous to use it, but it's, you know, it still makes up for it. It's such an awesome game, you know, weapon that has such a high attack power. And then finally, the last component we're gonna add is, so I mentioned you can play DDay Dice Pocket, sorry, Airborne in Your Pocket in 3 ways. You can play basic scenario, you can play advanced scenario, and scenarios. So in scenarios, you cannot add a bunker commander, but with a normal standard scenario, or standard game, I should say, an advanced game, you can add a bunker commander. And lucky for me, Inside the Bunker, DDay Dice expansion, and Airborne In Your Pocket Merge expansion comes with 1 new bunker commander. So this is the Cannoneer. Each player entering the gun platform rolls 6 DDay dice, and +1 for each courage medal. You get +1 in weapon power until the end of the turn, but for every skull we roll, we lose 1 health. So that could actually damage us for a total of 6 health points. So we also get this neat little rule book, and there's actually some descriptions about these specific commanders, and everything is described in great detail. So here we have the Flame Gunner, which is our special operative, Sergeant Luke Chamberlain, 29th Infantry Division, 116th Regimental Combat Team, Charlie Company, United States of America. A veteran of Omaha Beach, Chamberlain loves fire above all else and has the scars to prove it. He starts the game with an M1A1 flamethrower, a powerful if unreliable weapon. And then we have our new bunker commander here. New bunker commander, and his name is the Cannoneer, Major Klaus Heshog, 716th Infantry Division, Infantry Regiment 736, 2nd Battalion, 7th Company. Herzog always had a soft spot for artillery, as he was an artilleryman during World War II. Now the commander of an important part of the Atlantic Wall, Herzog has posted extra guards around all his guns. For each player entering a gun platform, even when evading, roll 6 DDay dice. I don't know why it says DDay dice. That player loses 1 health for each skull rolled and gains +1 power until the end of the turn for each medal rolled. Okay, so that's it, man. We're gonna stop jabbering now and actually start playing. So we'll put the cards here. I know there's some glare. I really still haven't found the perfect way to record in this room because it's kind of crowded, it's kind of small, and the roof is really low. But I hope it's okay that you can see everything anyway. Okay, so the first thing you do, that's put your drop zone in the middle of the table, and you take your little paratrooper here, your wooden meeple, and put him on top of it. Remember, we need to roll to see our secondary objective, and we roll 5, which means we will have our secondary objective set to 5. So we mark that with our little, I don't know what you call it, little playboard, or what do we call that? We have this helper card which tells us that location 5, that's the barbed wire, and that will give us a bronze star as a reward for resolving that secondary objective. And you take your event cards and you go ahead and shuffle them. And the first time you do that, whoops, first time you do that, you can go ahead and discard the top 2 cards face down, so you aren't supposed to see the cards which you have just discarded. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start by going to the right, and I immediately find the bunker doors. That's cool, but I still need to find the ammo dump, and I need to find the barbed wire to resolve my secondary objective. Okay, so we take our first event card and we read outside. Outside green event, there's a dead sniper in a tree, still clutching his Gewehr 98 rifle. To climb and take his weapon, discard 1 event card. I'm not gonna do that because I'm very happy with my flamethrower. I don't feel like I want a sniper as well. So we're gonna keep walking, and this time I'm gonna go to the right here, and we find the sandbags. Also take note that all of these tiles have descriptions, and for example, at the sandbags here we have +2 weapon power, so we're gonna be stronger if we will have combat now. Outside, we're gonna have combat. 4 SS soldiers challenge you, okay? So there's 4 of them, and my weapon power is 5, so you take their number and subtract your weapon power. My weapon power is 5 plus 2, so it's 7. So 4 minus 7, they're not gonna damage me at all. However, since we're using the flamethrower, it tells us roll a 1d6. On a 1 to 3, we lose 1 health point. 4 to 6, we lose 2. And we roll 6, so that means we have taken 2 damage points. We go down to 7. I'm gonna go ahead and move to the right again, and this time we get to the Panzer. If you end your turn here, -1 health. Outside, you recover an item from the saddlebag of a dead horse. So what I can do now, if I want to, is I can pick the next event card and simply flip it and use it to retrieve that item. And basically you will get an item, but you're going to lose an event card, and you will have a limited amount of these because once you run out of them, you reshuffle them, and then you advance the clock here 1 hour. And if you ever reach 10 o'clock, you lost the game. So basically, you can only reshuffle 2 times, and that means you're gonna have 27 turns totally, and after 27 turns, it's over. So you don't want to waste those cards. Again, I'm not particularly interested in any items because I'm very satisfied with my flame gunner here. So, but we're still gonna have to lose 1 health point because Panzer, if end turn here, -1 health. We're gonna go ahead and go down, and I have successfully managed to find the ammo dump. So that's where I need to find explosives to sabotage the guns in the bunker. And we take an outside card. A dog barks nearby. Okay, well, I don't mind the dog. So we're going to go ahead and resolve an extra event now to receive the explosives. Outside, there is a black painted sign on a post. A minefield. Roll 1 DDay Dice die. On a skull, result of a skull, you are wounded, which means you have to carry 1 less item. So you can only carry 1 item, and your starting item doesn't count. Okay, so we go ahead and roll. And look at that, guys. I rolled a skull. So that's bad news because that means I'm wounded. So I'll set my marker here to wounded. And that means I can only pick up a maximum of 1 more item. Okay, and I believe, yeah, that was the second event, so that means I received explosives. Your starting weapon and explosives does not count towards your the maximum amount of items that you can carry. So normally you can carry 2 items, now I can carry 1 because I'm wounded, but again, none of these actually count towards that. Now the question is, do I want a chance to see if I can create a route that goes back to the bunker door? I think I want to do that. It might get blocked and I will be trapped instead, but we'll try. Okay, so next is the barbed wire. If you evade from here, discard 1 event card. So I'm not going to evade. Outside, roll 1 DDay Dice die. If I roll a soldier or 2 soldiers, I will meet 3 infantrymen. If I roll a star, I will meet 4 infantrymen. Otherwise, nothing happens. And I'm lucky enough to roll a medal, which means nothing happens. And now I'm going to go ahead and resolve one more event to actually perform my secondary objective, which is over here in the barbed wire. Outside, 4 paratroopers trap you. You can't evade. Okay, so I have to battle those paratroopers, but again, I'm not going to lose any health because my fighting power is 5. There are only 4 of them. I'm going to have to roll, though, to see how much damage I take. And I roll a 2, so that's a good deal because that means I've only lost 1 health point. So I go from 6 to 5. I resolved the secondary objective, and we check our secondary objective rewards card. Barbed wire, that gives me the bronze star. So we're going to go ahead and look for the specific items which are tied to this tile set. I think it's called spade. And we'll look for the bronze star. There we go. Choose an item from your discarded events. Okay, that could be cool. So I'm going to go ahead and use that straight away. There's no reason for me to save on that. So I get to choose an item. The pepper is one of my favorite weapons, so that could be cool. A problem here is the enemy could actually, in this expansion, the enemies can steal your gun and actually hurt you with it. So you have to be a little bit careful about what you choose to equip yourself with. I'm gonna go ahead and take the pepper. It's too awesome not to take, right? So we take the Russian pepper 41, PPSH as you call it in English, but in Russian it's Pepesha. I think it sounds a lot better. And that's it. Okay, so we're done. I'm gonna go ahead and move to the left now, revealing the last outside location. And man, look at that. I'm so lucky. I'm gonna be able to connect it to the bunker doors. Half track, infantry are +2 here, so let's hope we don't meet any infantry. Outside, you reopen an old wound, roll 3 DDay dice. Each skull is -1 health. Okay, so I roll 1 skull, so that means I lose a total of 1 health. Okay, so I'm down to 4 now. I've run out of my event cards, so that means I need to reshuffle them. So we go ahead and reshuffle. And I'm not so hardcore with it. I just shuffle and mix them up a little bit. And then you have to remember, discard the top one. So when you start the game, you discard 2. But then the 2 times that you will reshuffle them, you discard only 1. I'm going to go ahead and rest because I need to get my health up. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice this card and rest. And I will go 3 points of health up from 4 to 7. Also, I have found a flare, because if you ever turn all the, or discover all of the outside locations, you will be given the flare, and the flare lets you discard an inside location that you use draw and draw another one. So that's actually a pretty good card. Also, it says down here, we probably can't see it, free item. So it's a free item and does not count towards that maximum of 1 if you're wounded, which I currently am. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move up to the bunker door. If you end turn here and resolve a blue event, +1 health. So let's hope for a blue event. Also, don't forget, you have to advance the time. So we advance the time now to 8 o'clock. That means that we're kind of running out of time. And let me just count so I didn't forget to do it before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's good. Okay, so we have a few more turns. We can still do this. The drop zone is rather close, so getting out there once we have blown up the guns shouldn't be so difficult. Let's just hope that we can manage to do it, without too much trouble. Okay, so we resolve our event. It's not a blue event; it's a red one. Outside, 4 paratroopers trap you. You can't evade. I have to battle them. I'm gonna use the flamethrower. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Pepesha this time. The Pepesha has a attack power of 3, and I'm being engaged by 4 paratroopers. So 4 minus 3, that's 1. So with the Pepesha now, I'm guaranteed to only take 1 damage, but with the flamethrower, I could possibly take 2. So I go from 7 to 6 damage. Okay, we go ahead and go and move inside, and it's always going to be the entrance, of course. So on red alert, you are -1 here. It's not red alert, so we're good. Now we stop reading outside, and we instead read inside. Inside, 1d6 SS soldiers trade bullets with you. So we roll the d6, and we roll a 2, so that's fine. We use the Pepesha, which has an attack power of 3, meaning we lose no health. The Pepesha also lets us evade from SS soldiers without damage. If we want to evade from battle, we can do that by paying 1 health point. But with the Pepesha, if you're engaging SS soldiers, you don't have to pay that 1 health point penalty. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to the next place, and we will go to the right. And we have the radio room. If you fight here, red alert is declared. So I definitely don't want that. And the question is, should I... I'm going to go ahead and use the flare and skip that. So that lets us discard that card. And I'm just going to put the flare on top of it to remember that I've discarded that card. We take the next inside location. We hope for the gun platform. Look at that. It's the gun platform. That's awesome. Okay, so now we have a few things we have to do. First of all, let's not forget our new and horrible bunker commander, who could actually possibly wipe us out now. Because each player entering gun platform rolls 6 DDay dice and -1 health for each skull. So should we roll 6 skulls now, it's game over, since we have currently 6 health points. But you know, we can also have a positive effect if we get those courage medals. Oof, okay. That's not a good roll for me. I don't know if you can see the one back here, but it's also a skull. So that's 3 skulls, so we lose 3 health points. So we go from 6 to 3. But we also have 2 of these medals. So quite an interesting roll, because that means we will have +2 power for the rest of this battle. So we have still have to perform our first inside location check. And we have inside, you hear footsteps. Roll a DDay Dice die on a skull. Red alert is declared. Okay. And we roll a tool, so there's not going to be any red alert. And I'm not going to have, get any use of these because there were not any battle. Okay, so now I have to resolve an extra event to use the explosives to plant them on the gun platform and blow up the guns. So we resolve. Actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and rest for 1 turn. Go from 3 to 6 health points, and then I'm going to resolve an event. Inside, you notice an open closet. To search it, roll a DDay Dice die. On a tool, you find an item printed on this card, which is the Pepesha. I already got that. On a skull, it's a booby trap, -1 health. On a courage medal, it's find a distinguished conduct medal. I'm not going to do that, so, I have everything I need. I will use that event to just blow up the gun platform. So now you have to imagine a big-ass explosion, like that. We go to red alert. Everyone hears what's going on, and this is the awesome part of the game. We now flip the side of this, and it now says red alert. We're wounded, 6 health points left, and yeah, we now have to get back to drop zone. I don't think this is going to be a problem for us. We have been very lucky with the draws of the locations for this game, obviously, so I don't think it's going to be much of a problem, but you never know. So now we move to the entrance, and first of all, on red alert, you are -1 here, so we're going to be -1 in our power. And now we actually read on the third part. So the first part is outside locations, the second part is inside locations, and the last part is red alert. Someone throws a knife at you, -1 health point. Okay, so we simply lose 1 health point. That's not too bad. We go from 6 to 5. And then we move down to the bunker doors. If you end turn here and you resolve a blue event this turn, +1 health. And we have a blue event. Red alert, 6 infantrymen advance towards you. So we could actually battle them now without much of a problem because we still have the flamethrower. But I'm gonna just, for gameplay purposes and to show you how stuff works, I'm actually just gonna evade. So I've evaded to the drop zone, and what happens when you evade is you simply lose 1 health point. And I then end my my turn on the drop zone. I've completed the secondary objective. I have found explosives, and I've blown up the gun platform, and again I've reached the drop zone. That's the game over. I've actually won. Okay, wow, that's awesome. Maybe next time I shouldn't use those optional rules to have a simpler game, but again, I was just super lucky to find these inside locations. Well, there you have it, guys. This is Airborne in Your Pocket. It's one of my favorite games. It's definitely up in the top top 5 list when it comes to portable games, and it's just so fun to mix it with DDay Dice. It really give you a whole new experience. Another cool thing with this game is that these tiles and event cards, the standard event cards and items, of course, they come in 4 different sets. So you have the spades, the diamonds, the heart, and the 4th one, which I can't remember. The clubs it's called. I don't know why I can't remember spades and clubs. Those are hard words to remember for some reason for me. Anyway, so you have those 4 sets, and all of those sets have different tiles and different event cards. So if you play and you get bored, you switch to a new set of tiles and event cards, or you could just roll before you play to randomly choose which tiles you're going to use. And then you have, for example, we're using the spade now, and the standard game was actually designed with this in mind. And then the hearts is the most difficult one, and so on. So there's some cool parts to it. Anyway, guys, don't miss out on DDay Dice, because there is 24 hours remaining on the current Kickstarters, and almost everything is sold out, but there is still a few pledges different pledges that are actually available, and we are 10,000 Great British pounds away from the last stretch goal, and so far we have, I think we raised 110,000 or 120,000 Great British pounds, so that's completely crazy. And I mean, there's even if you have DDay Dice, there is the new Reinforcements expansion, and there is the updated DDay Dice Pocket, which is also, of course, a great portable game, and those are the ones that I'm mainly backing for, as well as the Med Pack, which is basically an errata pack. Guys, thank you so much for watching me. I'm so happy. I haven't done a playthrough video in so long. And this night I just felt like, okay, I have the energy, I have the time. It's 1 a.m., but screw it, let's just do it. I can sleep when I get old. I can sleep when I get old. Thank you so much for watching, and again, I want to give a big thank you to everyone who takes the time to comment on my videos. It really, makes it so much more enjoyable for me when you connect back with me. And yes, so don't forget, subscribe, comment, like the video, helps me out a lot. As I always say, you can also help a little bit extra if you can, and if you want to only, you can become a supporting member of the channel for only $2.99 US a month, or you can send me a one-time donation through PayPal. Any amount, helps. Everything goes towards backing new games on Kickstarter, buying new camera equipment, everything for the channel, guys. And again, you never ever have to give a cent. I'm just happy if you participate, and comment. That's it. That's enough for me. Guys, God bless you. Stay safe out there, and I will see you soon.